Okay. First question. No, I'm not doing the Worlds. I'm currently in Belgium. I do some smaller races in Belgium because with Lotto we have now this fight going on to stay in the World Tour. That's what I'm doing. I ride the race chain rings, indeed. I use 11-speed chain rings in a 12-speed group set. Tips for positioning in the bunch. Yes, ride high-level races, do them often, and you will naturally learn how to position in the bunch because you will get dropped when you're not positioning properly. That's how I got to learn it, how I got better at it. And you have to ask yourself who wants it the most. You go to an important corner and ask yourself who wants it the most. Is it you or is your opponent approaching the corner? Avoiding knee pain. Of course, that's something very personal. I think the best is to do proper core stability with a proper physio, that your body is very balanced. Perhaps if your quads are totally out of balance with your hamstrings, this can cause problems. Might be possible that there are 20 teams in World Tour next year. Let's see, won't be bad, but we will see. People ask me a lot of questions why I do this spin at 120 cadence in the morning, sober only 20 minutes. It's just no real studies about it, but it activates my system. I feel good with it, and that's why I stick with it. I like to have a morning routine, and that's part of my morning routine, just spinning the legs at 100 watts, 120 cadence, and you know, it triggers the brain. It's challenging for the brain, it's not challenging for the legs or the heart. And it gives you a good neuromuscular training, and this effect makes me feel ready from the start in a race or an important training session. Is my FTP lower now than the time I was oh, sorry. Is my FTP lower now than when I was a time trial specialist? It's a quite interesting question. You would expect it to be lower, but it's not like that. It's higher. When I do an FTP test, it's higher. When I do the FTP test on the road bike, I have greater training effects doing all my trainings on the road bike, but I lost so much, let's say, flexibility. I lost just the capability to produce all my power in an aggressive time trial position. But when I do an FTP test upright on the rollers, something like that, I would easily put out 20 watts more. How long am I riding on the rollers? 11 minutes. That's it. I'll go for about 45 minutes today. I had a properly hard race yesterday. GP de Wallonie was in the rain. We did not get the result we expected. But the legs are good. More races coming up. Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday. My favorite place for altitude training, Livigno is easy. It's quite close to Belgium. And in summer, weather is most likely okay. So that's the place where you would see me the most. It's just about 9 hours in the car and you're there. But the problem is in winter time it's snowing there. You can go there for skiing, but not for cycling. And Africa is very good to replace that. I've been 2 times for 2 months in Namibia. It was quite great. For sure my VLA max is now higher. I aim to keep it high because I want this explosivity in the race. But my VO2, if you have a higher VLA max, you will test a higher VO2 in this inside test. It's just like that. But if you would measure my VO2 with a mask, nothing would change a lot. I don't do any power training next to the bike. I have done it often when I was more early in my professional career, but you have to make choices. To me, I find core training very beneficial, and I can easily do it at home. I have a small gym for that. That's great. If I did power training, I had to go to a gym. I used time to go to the gym. Machines were not always free. You could get ill by seeing other people. So no, I don't do power training anymore, except during winter. I do about 3 weeks with squats, maximum weight, low repetitions, just to recruit all cells. Quite funny, I just unlocked classic leather shoes on Zwift. And that's actually what I'm riding. I'm riding laces, leather shoes with laces. I'm very happy with them. Never thought laces would be good, but it's great. They don't loosen up the shoes. It's strange because I have exactly the same shoes with Bora buttons and then with laces. And if I ride the Boras, every 15 minutes I have to tighten them a little bit more. But with the laces, I can do a 6-hour race, tighten them from the start, don't touch them, and still have tight shoes in the final of the race. If I train on Zwift in winter time, yes. Often I train on Zwift. I like Zwift actually, and it's super good training because you have this resistance all the time. True, it doesn't feel as much as riding your bike outside, as really riding your bike outside. You would lose a bit of cornering skills if you do it at all times. But when the weather is bad and when it's cold, I would most likely ride on Zwift, because training in the cold and bad weather is a lot of stress on your body. Stress that doesn't make you stronger. There is no study at all that proves there is any cold adaptation or benefits from riding in the cold. And if you can replace those very cold rides with indoor sessions on Zwift, that's how I do it. Yes, not too often, but every now and then in winter time I do a 5-hour Zwift session. I try to hop on a race, trying to find a group that suits my easy endurance pace. Not always easy. Level can be quite high on Zwift, and time flies like that. When I started a long time ago, when I was still a triathlete, at some times I did a 5-hour session watching a wall, listening to some music, because Zwift didn't exist. I think my longest Zwift ride is about 5 hours 30. You never read my question. Ask it again. If I eat a lot of fiber, yes. During training time, I try to eat as much fiber as possible. Not because I want to be extremely skinny, not at all. I don't think it's beneficial to be extremely skinny in times like I don't think it's very beneficial to be extremely skinny when you're a classic rider. When you're a really Grand Tour stage rider, yes, you need to be skinny or you won't be able to stay up with the guys. But when you're just there to do the couple races, you better stay strong and healthy. So I eat a lot of fibers, mostly because I think it's very good to have a healthy gut, and your probiotics in your gut, they use the fibers as nutrition. To have a healthy gut, in all ways, life is better, not only as a high performance athlete. And then also in race in the morning at my breakfast, I'll have some oatmeal, which contains a lot of fiber. I'll have a banana, which contains fiber. I won't go crazy on the fibers morning of the race, but during a tour, I will always have my veggies, green veggies, are very good to keep your body lactic. I would say to, let's say, judge which veggies are good, the easy way is the green ones are better The ones with more bright colors, they are most likely a bit less good. They're also good. Vegetables are very healthy and very good nutrition, but if you want to get the best, go for the green ones. So your question about if you've been away from cycling for a long time, you want to be fit in 12 months time, for sure. For sure that's possible. I have a friend with a PhD about cycling efficiency compared to running, and strange thing in cycling, you don't really gain efficiency by riding the bike. You will, the efficiency difference between me and let's say my dad on the bike, it's almost not measurable. So you can easily gain fitness on the bike and perform at a high level in about no time. I've seen this with a good friend of me that was big at one point, and he wanted to lose some weight. Started riding a bike, and in no time he was actually able to do an endurance ride with me. Of course, for me it was endurance, and for him it was about 4-hour all-out session. But in no other sport you can do this. You cannot train for 6 months on running and then do an endurance run with Kipchoge. You will be dropped after 200 meters. There will be more videos coming up. Happy you enjoyed them already. Like, what we focus on is just, I don't know what to say it in English, but what I have to say, I'm a pro rider. I'm not the best pro rider, but at good days, I can be there in a one-day race. In the final, I win races. I have had the hour record, and there are very few people on YouTube that have these experiences in life. So what we say, these videos, they are crap. They are not, we don't put any time in them to look fancy. If you want to see fancy YouTube videos, I'm sure you will find heaps of them. But I'm sure I can do better than what you can easily find in 5 seconds. But I'm quite sure you won't find high-level pro cyclists very often. You have Alex Dowsett, he has an incredible YouTube account. I'm also a fan of his YouTube account. Maybe he got me into YouTube. But next to that, not too much. But more videos will come up. So I hope you guys enjoy those videos and keep on watching. I think Remco Evenepoel is quite clearly everybody's favorite, but I like Remco. I've spent some time with him next to the race. Very good guy and very gentle. But Yves Lampaert is really a friend of me. So I'm wishing that Yves can take a time trial victory. That would be crazy. Like yellow jersey in Tour de France. Not a single person expected that to happen. But he's a crazy guy. He can fly some days. Like and subscribe my channel. Indeed, that's important. Keep you motivated. Indeed, Harry Sweeney's videos, they are next level. And he also gives very good insights in cycling. And man, his editing is so good. But to be honest, I want to be on YouTube and I want to share knowledge with you guys, but I don't want to spend half a day in editing a video to tell the same thing. If I still use my breathing mask, it's right over here. But I'm doing some recovery at the moment. I have heaps of one-day races on short time, so I don't want to overstress my diaphragm. So it's just easy speeding. I'm sitting about 2 watts per kilogram. I'm sweating properly. But nothing to overstress my body. If I count calories, no ways I count calories. I count calories like I count sugar in the race. That's what I count. But I have counted calories. Every single calorie I took, I ate, I was counting. I even put my frying pan on the scale, measured the drops of olive oil I was putting in. But man, this takes your mental fatigue to the highest levels you can imagine. If you're not a climber, stay away from this. If you want to get skinny, if you want to get super lean and still perform, you have to do this. But please let somebody else do it for you, like they do in Ineos, like they do in Jumbo. I eat oats, but what is strange about my oats, what you won't expect, I just add sugar to the oats. People over time got afraid of sugar, but if you're actively performing, you don't have to stay away from sugar. If you have a gel, it's also sugar. And I think it's easy to store. It never runs over date, like it never goes bad. And it's sugar. Why would you eat honey? Like, I know I'm a bit of a vegan, I'm not a crazy vegan, I'm not Adam Hansen, but I think of the animals. And why have honey when you can have sugar? Why take away the honey of the bees? They're not our slaves, you know. I saw one interesting question. Let's look it up. Am I a better swimmer than Cameron Wurr? That's a good question. Actually, quite sure I am. I've been talking with him quite a lot in races. Not at the moment, but when you give me like 4 weeks, I will be at this level, and give me another 4 months and I will be at a higher level. But man, I am a bad runner. So if you can't run, triathlon will never happen on the highest level. Hey Sasha, I've had in my career quite a lot of problems with saddle sores, and what I learned for me, what worked for me, I'm not telling anybody that they should do what I do, but I can give you advice. If you use anything that contains a lot of grease, it might get away all the friction, which can be good for a single ride, but it closes the pores of your skin, and this can create cysts and just a fucking big zit on your ass, and that's not what you want. So what I use is a water-based lotion, not 100% water-based, there's always some grease inside, but in Dutch we call it a cream, and not zalf. I don't know how to say it in English, I'm sorry. And now for this days when it's hotter, my girlfriend, she's a pharmacist, so she actually makes my chamois cream. For these hotter days, she puts some menthol in the cream, which gives me a very fresh feeling at my bottom. It's quite agreeable. And then try to keep your bottom dry when you're not in the cycling pants. Might sound funny, but I dry my bottom with a hair dryer, and then I always wear loose boxers. I never something that sticks to the skin. So that was the topic. No, I don't use any beet stuff. Citrulline is a way better supplement, which actually the same product, but just one step in advance of beet stuff, like one step in advance of the process. So you would say it's less good, but it's not true, because the citrulline will go into nitrates, like what you find in beet stuff. Beetroot juice is what we're talking about. But citrulline is absorbed way more stable. I prefer disc brakes, man. I know somebody on YouTube called Durian Rider, and he's a crazy rim brake believer. But whenever I started riding disc brakes, I felt more safe at all time. You can just more easily adapt your braking power. No, I'm now riding on steady rollers, Tax Neo. Actually been quite a while since I was on the steady rollers, but I felt like doing a YouTube live, and that's way more easy on steady rollers compared to the roller banks. if I experience neck pains after long races. I'm still young, I would say. I'm 30 years old, but for riders, that's not as young anymore. And compared to when I was 25, I experienced a lot more pain in my body. I wouldn't say it's real pain. I think a lot of people 9 to 5 on a disc experience a lot of more pain at certain points in their body. I would say my weakest point is my lower back, but at this current moment my neck is a bit sore. Yeah. What you wanna swing your guard? If you think you can be a time trialist because you're skinny or weighing less, I think a lot of guys prove you wrong. I think a golden chain looks badass, if you put it around your neck, yes. To be honest, on the bike I prefer just Shimano chain, which has not at all any like coating, because you can get it really, I don't know how to say it, but really thick, no residues left, and it's like real crisp. And I always watch my chains, like you've all seen in my movie, and this works the best with Shimano chains. I put a gold chain on my girlfriend's, her bike, also waxing this chain, but I have the feeling I have to more often wax her chains as my chains. And of course she does a lot of less kilometers than I do. I don't know what riders I want to be in the team with. I have a lot of good friends. Say my closest friend in the peloton, might not know him, Dimitri Kleis, but unfortunately he will retire at the end of the year. I'm a good friend. I talk a lot with Mathieu van der Poel in the peloton. We can laugh a lot, but in my team, Lotto Soudal, we have this band. I would say, like, when we're out there, Arnaud Delis, Brent Van Moer, Florian Vermeers, Frederik Frison, Jasper de Buist, Sébastien Grinard. We are what they say a team should be like, and that's really great. So not at all I would want to change a team, and not at all I would want to replace my teammates. So the wax pot I use is a Cyclo Wax, it's a Belgian brand startup. Might be a bit bigger. It's also nice if you might live in a small apartment, but it doesn't take too much place. Watching change is the future. Change is the future, I think. I'll drink now because you say you tell me to drink. Somebody of you guys on Swift at the moment. If you don't ask me questions, like the question box disappears. That's why sometimes I'm silent. I'm on Zwift, of course. I'm on Zwift, of course. I never go on ergo or on the roller bank without being on Zwift. You know, I have to chase points to increase levels. Breathing exercise, IOFIT. Maybe the device is not 100% on point, but it guides you so well. The application is so good. Really made my breathing exercises more easy. Real altitude compared to an altitude hotel. Good question. The major benefit about an altitude hotel is the climate. You can go to an altitude hotel somewhere where the weather is always great. If you go to Andorra, even in summer, you can have very, very bad weather. And if you have some bad days on an altitude hotel, you can sleep on sea level, you can sleep a bit lower. When you see your saturation is not as low as you want it, you can sleep a bit higher. I've experimented a lot with different drinks, and my advice is stay away from anything that's hypertonic. Stay away from any super carbs or alpha max or any more than concentrated drink. Stay ISO at all times. And then I eat gels. I don't eat anything solid. I know you guys would say or think eating a gel with ISO bottle is the same as drinking hypertonic, but it's not true. If you have no solid food, you empty your stomach really quick, so in your gut it would look totally different. If you drink hypertonic, all your gut is attracting plasma from the blood to make the solution in your gut isotonic. If you drink ISO with gels, you have about all your gut isotonic, which absorbs very fast, and then certain places in your gut that are very concentrated and takes a bit longer time to absorb, but otherwise you're just dehydrating the body by attracting all the plasma to your gut, and you're losing performance. I'll do one last question and then I'll go over the rollers. Okay, it's an interesting question, it's a good question, but I think you know the answer. It's important to sleep very well, be in bed at least 10 hours a day, and try to sleep all those 10 hours, but it's not always possible. And my best advice for sleep, never ever take a cell phone inside of your room. I always leave my cell phone in the kitchen, and I never take my cell phone inside of the room. This is so bad for sleeping quality, because your brain is on all the time when you're on the cell phone, and if you put away the cell phone right before you go to bed, your brain is totally freaked out. So you never do that, and just eat healthy. That's really important to get the right nutrients in. If you eat healthy, you also, I actually think about no supplements. I might take some vitamin D in winter time, but other than that, I actually have no supplements that I take, because I try to have a lot of variety in my food. That was about it, guys.